Hi friends, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abair, and this is where I share my insights, and I hope that my insights have helped you on your journey. And today I'm tackling a very tough question. Is there a free will? And I'm going to start off with the short answer. And the short answer is yes, there is a free will. In the same way that there is an ego. And there always will be an ego. In the same way that there is a physical world. And there always will be a physical world. As long as we can perceive it. Spiritual revelation is understanding that the world is not only physicality. There's so much more to it. And you begin to dive into the multiple layers of it, into the substrata of reality, capital R, which connects it all. So, is the ego not real? Well, that begs the question, what is not real, and how is it different from what is real? When ultimately, everything is real, even that which appears unreal. And that's where things get really tricky. But the separate self is an illusion. Free will, as we've come to understand it, like we are free agents roaming freely in the environment, moving independent of all creation. That's a myth. It just is a sensation that you have this freedom to move about and do whatever the heck you want to do. And that gets really tricky because that is a pseudo free will. Just like the ego is a pseudo version of who you are. Let's say it's kind of. Okay, great. What good does it do you then to recognize that the separate self is an illusion? Does it do us any good to constantly remind ourselves that gravity is always working? Not necessarily. In much the same way as we have to remind ourselves that the earth is round. We go around like the earth is flat, but we don't need to constantly remind ourselves that we're walking on a sphere. And do we need to constantly remind ourselves that we're always here? We're always here, and the time is always now. What good does all these spiritual things that people have said, the free will is an illusion, the individual self is an illusion, it's always here and now. All this stuff. What good does all of that help us do? And the other thing that people tell you is that you're becoming lucid. You're awakening. This is difficult because you become lucid, but you're still in the matrix. That's what it feels like. So this is a dream. You come to this, trust me. This is a dream. And you have awakened, but are still in the dream. What good is that? To tell other people, hey, you're dreaming. Why would I tell you that you're not real? Why would I want to tell you that free will is an illusion? And the other part of this that gets really tricky is who is being deceived? If I am, as Ryan Abair, huge sham, big sham, what good does it do to tell you that I am a sham, I'm a ghost, I am an illusion? And number two, who's being deceived? Well, you can intuit so much about the universe if you just sit with yourself for just a second. Have you not ever deceived yourself? You are deceiving yourself. The illusion of self and other is a singular phenomenon. It's a duality within the singular organism. And I don't understand how the subconscious mind is hiding from the conscious mind. I don't understand that. So if you become lucid in the dream, do you pull apart self and other and there is just one? I don't think we ever totally get rid of this illusion of self and other. And I'll explain why I think that. Because I'll tell you, I believe I had a conversion experience. I feel like I have become lucid in the dream. And I have found incredible insight and peace in that. However, I still feel like there is a self and other. Jesus Christ himself talked about something called the Father. He called it the Father, which is a terrible word because it makes you feel like a white-bearded big guy in the sky, the man upstairs. That's the first thing your mind will go to, is a man, something with a penis, the Father. And if he would have called it the Mother, we would have thought of something with a vagina and boobs. And we would have put a name on it, like God the Father. But he also admitted that I and the Father are one. So he just used the words the Father. Okay, so was this man dualistic? No. He was talking about himself. He was talking about this part of himself that was him. And so you can sense this in yourself. This doesn't take much contemplation to intuit that the universe is deceiving itself. That self and other are one. The Father and the Son are one. The parent in you, the universe, the higher self, the deeper voice, the depths of your being, you name it. Brahman, the self, the Tao. This is what it means to believe in yourself. This is what it means to talk to yourself. This is what it means to betray yourself. No, there are not two of you. But you can sense that duality in you. Take, for example, when you pinch yourself, who is hurting and who is doing the hurting? Me. When you make yourself laugh, which I do all the time, who's the comedian and who's the laugher? When you lie to yourself, which is what procrastination is, you say, I'll get to that later. Big fat lie. Who's lying and who's pretending to be lied to? Me. So the illusion of self and other is me. In the conversion process, self and other don't go away. All this talk about unity and one, I am one, yeah. I am sure the most enlightened individual still talks to herself. Jesus prayed. When we sit in quiet, we listen to ourselves. Not our talky selves, but our non-talky selves, our wordless selves. That's the mystery here. The part of myself that does not talk, does not have an identity, cannot be seen, cannot be touched, cannot be even talked about. Of course, that's what I'm trying to do. But that sense of self and other converts. And it's still there. Just because I'm lucid in the dream doesn't mean I have identified the illusionist. Me, I'm the illusionist. I'm being eluded and I'm buying into the conspiracy of it all. Don't know how that works. And I still know that there's self and other on a physical level, because I'm not going to come into your bed and snuggle up with you and say, oh, you're me. It's okay. I'll touch you in inappropriate places. There's still a boundary between us. So this unity is taking place in some unknown realm that Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. And I'm talking about it in some realm called the superconscious. You have the subconscious, the conscious mind, and the superconscious. This layer of knowledge, of knowing that you know. Where the hell is that? How can we understand the illusion when we're still seeing it? You awaken to this knowledge called faith. And what happens is self and other doesn't go away. It's just that the better part of yourself, the parent, the father, the universe, the higher self, the Brahman, the self with a capital S, it starts to lead. And what you'll notice is you can't lie to yourself anymore. You can't engage in those addictive, overreactive behaviors anymore. Addictions dissolve. Fear dissolves. And the conversion process is not something that I did. It just happened. It just so happened that I came to the same eureka that Jesus and the Buddha and Lao Tzu and all these great people, Marcus Aurelius, they've all came to the realization that they were all of it. And maybe that's what's happening with you. Particularly if you've made it this far in the video. And at first, it's going to feel like you're taking someone else's word for it. Because that's all these are, words. I can't claim to be an anointed one or an enlightened one. That's just a bunch of words. Words are sounds. They don't mean anything. This knowledge called faith, this grounding of having no fear, none, and being completely sure that you're being provided for and cared for. The stuff that Jesus said about the lilies, consider the lilies, they do nothing. They're just there. They don't spin and toil and worry about anything, and they are clothed in such dazzling radiance that not even Solomon himself could be so glorious. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. And you realize that's true. But I'm not that kind of a person that takes somebody's word for it. When you go to a restaurant and somebody has a great plate of food, like a filet mignon, and they cut into it and they eat it and say, oh, you have to try this. Oh my God, you have to try this. I hate that when people do that to me. I'm over there enjoying my salmon, and I don't want you to shove your filet mignon into my taste buds. I'm not ready to eat that succulence. Don't shove that in my face. If you're watching videos like this, I'm not spoon feeding you the truth. You're learning to acquire a taste for it on your own, like black coffee. Spiritual revelation is an acquired sense, a self-investigative. I wonder what that does taste like. I wonder who I am. It begins there. I wonder who I am. And you ask that question enough, and you won't have to take my word for it anymore. This conversion will happen in you, and the better sense of yourself will begin to lead, and you will no longer be able to lie to yourself, deceive yourself, help yourself I can't help myself any more or less than an insane criminal can help himself or herself. We're all being done according to our own level of understanding. And we'll all get to this place. Humanity is still understanding this. And the last frontier is this inner realm of faith, which must be happening on a larger scale than just moi. And I know that I've given you so much to chew on. But the number one benefit, the thing that has been so eye-opening, and understanding there's no me, is how freeing that is. I can be just like those lilies standing there, clothed in radiance. And I don't have to do anything. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. I'm not providing. I am being provided for. What a luxury. It's all, after that, it's all gravy and luxury and pampering. Even in palliative care. I look forward to the day I'll be cared for in hospice. They have good drugs. Death is fine. They have ways to keep you comfortable. You don't have to fear any of that. You know you're going to die. How you're going to die is insignificant. When you're going to die is insignificant too. The ultimate liberation is now. It's like gravity. It's as simple as opening the blinds, and there it is. You've always been there. Waking up in the dream doesn't look any different from the outside. It's all inside. So you got to take my word for it. So, is free will an illusion? At a very deep level, yes. In the sense that it's free. You're not choosing from a menu. What feels like free will are things that come up through the emptiness. And then there are no choices after that. They just come up. Why would I choose to make a video about this? No, this came up. It freely came up. It freely came up through the willingness. It freely came up through the emptiness that I am. One with no identity. I'm a conductor, conducive. Conducive means open for success, possibility. No encumbrances, no identity, no clothing, no resistance. That's the freedom. That's the freedom for things to come up through you and be created into the universe. And you realize you're not the kind of person that needs to put out fires. There's nothing like that. How can you put out fires when you're living in a fire? It's like a game of whack-a-mole. You're surrounded by yourself. Self and other are you. And you reconcile this. Being in a game of whack-a-mole, you whack-a-mole the enemy and another one pops up. You surrender. You're surrounded. Come out with your hands up and admit, I am that. You and I are the same. But just like an illusion, I'm not going to go to a magic show like David Copperfield and go up on the stage and screw it all up and try to show the audience how it's done, because I can't do it. I know that David Copperfield isn't flying, but he's flying. I've seen it. He's flying every bit as much as I'm real as an individual. Somehow there's some strings. Somehow there's a behind the scenes. I'm not going to ruin it. But like I know David Copperfield is performing an illusion, I know I am an illusion too. But I'm enjoying the show. What a wonderful spectacle. Why would I want to end the dream? It's fun to be in the dream and be lucid in the dream, because that frees me from the illusion that I'm holding up the universe with my actions. No such thing. Okay, thank you, friends. That's all I have to say today. I hope that you enjoyed my insights. My name is Ryan Hebert. It would mean the world to me if you would check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com. Just a little 300-word essay every day to get you started on the right foot. And I appreciate your time this wonderful day. And peace be with you all, and we'll see you next time.